द NDTV ऑटो शो में आप सबका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। मैं हूं आपकी होस्ट मुग्धा मिश्रा। सबसे पहले आपको बताती हूं क्या खास होने वाला है आज के शो में। महिंद्रा ने लॉन्च की एक नहीं दो EVs XEV 9e और B6e। आपको बताएंगे हमारे फर्स्ट इंप्रेशंस। रॉयल एनफील्ड लेकर आ गई है क्लासिक 350 का रिलैक्स्ड वर्जन गोअन क्लासिक। होंडा ने फाइनली लॉन्च कर दी है एक्टिवा EV। लेकर आएंगे इसकी सारी डिटेल्स। M&M ने इंडियन EV मार्केट में हलचल मचा दी है। उन्होंने एक नहीं दो EVs लॉन्च की हैं XEV 9e और B6e। दोनों की प्राइसिंग काफ़ी अट्रैक्टिव है और ये दोनों बॉर्न इलेक्ट्रिक EVs हैं जिसमें बहुत सारा टेक, बहुत सारे फीचर्स आपको मिल रहे हैं। क्या है इनके बारे में हमारे फर्स्ट इंप्रेशंस? Here they are. Mahindra Auto has launched two brand new EVs on a Goan electric platform called Inglo. This is BE6e. You can see it's a take on B6e, so you can see B6e. This is the front. This is a very coupe style hatchbackish car, but it has an SUV demeanor to it. There is air pockets here. You can see there is an air dam here for cooling. There's a lot of piano black material used here. The DRLs look quite attractive. Flush door handles. You can see there are people shooting. On the C-pillar, you have the door handle. You get 20-inch wheels here. They are aerodynamic wheels for better aerodynamics. They are flat so that in the EVs, the aerodynamics becomes very important, and that's why you get that. And on the rear here, you have the stop light in the middle, and then you have these big tail lamps with turn indicators very neatly integrated here. Because of this Inglo platform, you get a flat floor and a lot of space inside. You can see the frunk here, and there is a frunk in the XEV 9e as well. This is the XEV 9e. This is larger than the BE6e. Well, the XEV 9e is a coupe SUV. You get this connected DRL here. Very nice detailing here with the turn indicators, triangle shape, jewel looking headlamps. Again, you see a lot of piano black, but at the bottom a closed off grille here. And again, here also you get 20-inch wheels. And one more interesting thing is that the wheelbase is the same for both the vehicles, a little about 2700 millimeters. But this car is longer. The front overhang and the rear overhang is longer than BE6e. I will tell you that these cars come with two battery options, 59 kilowatt hour and 79 kilowatt hours. The 79 kilowatt hour battery will give you over 500 kilometers of range. A very deep boot space here in the XEV 9e. 170 kilowatt power in the 59 kilowatt battery pack. That means 230 HP. 0 to 100, this vehicle does, the XEV 9e does 0 to 100 in 6.8 seconds. And BE6e does that in 6.7 seconds. Now let me also tell you the pricing. The BE6e has been launched at 18.9 lakhs introductory price, starting price, and XEV 9e has been launched at 21.9 lakhs. This is the interior of B6e. You get this grey and dark grey combination. Looks very nice, and especially notice this sunroof. This is a panoramic sunroof with LED patterns made here. You get this in B6e and XEV 9e, both very interesting looking sunroof. Mahindra has taken a completely new take on the sunroof. Then on the front here you get this smaller screen, but in XEV 9e you get a bigger 43-inch screen where the passenger gets their own individual screen with theater function where they can mirror their phone, and the front passenger and the rear two passengers can have a theater experience. Whatever is being played here can be played on the devices at the rear as well. Now these screens get Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, wireless connectivity, and also they have Qualcomm's Snapdragon processor, which is the fastest processor being used in all the latest smartphones. So you can expect a really good feedback from the screens. You also get two wireless charging pads here. You get this very interesting looking gear selector, which Mahindra is saying that is inspired by airplanes, and of course this does look like an airplane cockpit, this cordoned off area with all the buttons here, and their toggle types button here, they look very airline type. Now this also gets a electronic parking brake, and the XEV 9E also gets auto hold function. You also get ADAS level 2 and a heads up display being projected on the windscreen, so you don't have to move your eyes anywhere. All the information will be projected on the windscreen, including navigation. A very high-tech EV from Mahindra Auto.
So if there's one motorcycle missing from Royal Enfield's portfolio, it was a bobber, an affordable bobber. Royal Enfield has corrected that with the launch of the all-new Goan Classic 350. This is the Goan Classic 350. It is a bobber, and yes, it is based on the Classic 350. And we find it to be a really good-looking motorcycle. And this particular shade is the Shack Black. And coincidentally, that's where we are. It's a shack, as you can see behind. And yes, we are in sunny Goa to ride this motorcycle, and we'll tell you all about it. If you compare it to the Classic, there are quite a few changes. Firstly, the rear section is completely different. So this right here is a single seat unit. You will of course get a pillion seat as well. That comes as standard, and if you want, you can just remove that seat and keep it as single. And no doubts about that, the motorcycle with a single seat looks much better than a pillion seat attached to it. This is meant for single riding. Yes, that's true. And if you talk about the design, the color scheme's completely new. The chassis and the panels, they stay the same. What really caught my interest is the fact that the tires, so you can see these are white wall tires, add to that nice retro chic look of the motorcycle. And the other interesting fact is both the front and the rear tires, they are spoked wheels, but they are tubeless. Yes, these come as standard. So big thumbs up to Royal Enfield. This is the first motorcycle on Royal Enfield's J series platform, the 350cc platform, to get tubeless spoke wheels. And from what we understand, these tubeless wheels will be introduced in all of the motorcycles in a phased manner. The swing arm is a little longer, the rear suspension, it gets slightly more travel. And apart from that, the exhaust, the silencer, it has a slash cut end, so that adds to the motorcycle's look. The fit and finish seem to be good too. The Goan Classic will be offered in 4 colors: Rave Red, Shack Black, Purple Haze and Trip Teal. And if we were to talk about the ergonomics, so I'll sit on the motorcycle. The seat height is a comfortable 750 millimeters, not very tall. And you see this raised handlebar right here. It's the same as the Thunderbird, the old Thunderbird. And the foot pegs are forward set, so you sit very comfortably, you sit upright. We would have liked the handlebar to be slightly lower, because right now these seem to be way too tall, these ape handlebar. This is standard. You also get a lower ape handlebar as an accessory, so if you want, you can use that as well. But in its stock form, the seating position is comfortable, but it's too upright. And this is a motorcycle that is meant to be ridden at leisure. It's not a motorcycle that you ride fast. You take it nice and easy, you soak in the sights and sounds. And that's what the Goan Classic is all about. So the overall design of the motorcycle is really, really nice. And another ornament is the fact that this gold badging on the fuel tank, this sun inspired badge, it looks really, really cool. The Goan Classic is loaded with similar features as the regular Classic 350. Full LED lighting, USB charging port and a triple pod is standard fitment, along with dual channel ABS. And up front, the motorcycle gets a 19-inch rim. At the rear, it's a 16-inch rim, and the rear tire is thicker than that on the Classic 350. So talking about the performance, the Goan Classic is the same exact engine as the Classic 350. It's a 349cc single cylinder air cooled motor which makes about 20 odd horsepower at 6100 rpm and 27 Newton meters of peak torque at about 4000 rpm. The engine is paired to a 5-speed gearbox. Talking about the performance, the ride and the power delivery is quite similar to that of the Classic 350. There's oodles of torque in the bottom end and the mid range. Towards the top end the power tapers, but this is a motorcycle that is meant to be ridden at leisure, which is why the bottom end and the mid range is quite strong and there's enough grunt from the engine to overtake at any speeds, and the motorcycle is happiest cruising at around 50 to 80 kilometers per hour, and that's where the motorcycle is really happy. The Goan Classic retains the charm and character of the Classic, complete with the signature thumb. Oh, and the claimed fuel efficiency for the Goan Classic is 36.2 kilometers per litre, which is something that we'll test once we ride it over a few days back at home. Coming to the ride quality, well, this being a bobber, the rear suspension is slightly stiff. It's not a deal breaker, but it's stiffer compared to the Classic 350 because that has a really plush and comfortable suspension. But overall, the ride and handling of this motorcycle is quite nice. It is relaxed, and if you want to attack corners with a gusto, then this motorcycle is more than up for it. The cornering clearance, although, is slightly on the low side, and if you corner really hard, you will end up grinding your foot pegs. Apart from that, the brakes, they work well, and yes, the engine is fuss free and is decently smooth, decently refined. The performance and comfort are par for the course, but it is best meant for short rides or daily commutes rather than long distance trips. And there is little scope for mounting luggage too. But despite its few faults, the Goan Classic 350 is an object of desire and will not only look well in your garage but also with you on it. It is a beautiful looking machine, and the performance and refinement from the engine is quite nice as well. Not exactly practical, but if you're single like me, then you'll definitely enjoy riding this bike, especially on your Sunday morning breakfast rides, and have everybody ogle at it, right? The pricing is decent enough.
वेलकम बैक। आप देख रहे हैं द NDTV ऑटो शो। होंडा स्कूटर्स एंड मोटरसाइकिल्स ने फाइनली एंट्री ले ली है इंडियन टू व्हीलर ईवी स्पेस में, और एंट्री लेने के लिए उन्होंने अपना सबसे पॉपुलर नाम ही चुना है, एक्टिवा ईवी। और इसके बारे में और ज़्यादा डिटेल दे रहे हैं किंगशुक दत्ता।
It's been a while in coming, but Honda Motorcycle and Scooter India has finally ventured into the electric vehicle segment with the Honda Activa E. 23 years after the Honda Activa was launched in 2001 and rightly called at one time the king of scooters, the Honda Activa brand is the most popular scooter brand in India, and HMSI wants to just build on that with the Activa E. Now let me quickly tell you about some of the features on the Activa E, starting with the range. It gets a range of 102 kilometers claimed as per the IDC cycle, and it gets swappable batteries. So there are two 1.5 kilowatt hour batteries. Let me quickly show you the batteries. So there they are. You just lift them up like this, and it's not very heavy either. So there are two batteries, and there's slight storage space here. So you have a basic toolkit and a first aid kit. Just a bit of storage space here to keep your knickknacks like your wallets, mobile phones, and so on and so forth, right? So now let's talk about the ergonomics of the scooter. So if you sit on the Activa E, it's quite comfy. The seat height is very nice, manageable, approachable, and the handlebar we feel is slightly narrow, right? But overall the seating comfort and the ergonomics is quite nice, very comfortable. We will be riding the scooter, and you have to look out for the review of the Honda Activa E on NDTV Auto, which will be live sometime in Jan or Feb 2025. Now let's talk about the overall design of the scooter. Well, if you come to the front, then you'll see that it is a family scooter, and it is still very futuristic but basic, not over the top. The front apron has a nice sleek look to it, full LED lighting of course, and this is the LED DRL that you can see here. The scooter rides on 12-inch wheels. There's a disc brake and telescopic fork up front. At the rear there's a monoshock which is offset, and apart from that the overall look and feel of the scooter is quite nice and it looks elegant, similar to the Activa of the old. And also if we talk about the features, then there's this nice digital TFT screen here. It is not a touch screen, right? It is not a touch. You have all these options here. So this is the switch cube and you can move around, right? So you get Bluetooth connectivity as well. You can use it to play the music, right? You have the horn, the indicator and the power switch here. And here you have 3 riding modes: economy, standard and sport. So you can switch between the riding gear. This is the reverse button right here. So that's another part of the scooter that is quite nice. And well, like we said, the claimed range is 102 kilometers. Let's talk about the performance of the scooter. The peak torque output is about 22 Newton meters. And well, the scooter, it has a top speed of 80 kilometers per hour, and the 0 to 60 kilometers per hour sprint can be done in 7.3 seconds. Now the scooter will be launched in Jan 2025 with deliveries beginning in Feb 2025. And to begin with, the Activa E will be launched in Delhi, NCR, Bangalore and Mumbai, where the Honda eSwap technology will be available. There will be many battery swap centers where you can just go and swap the batteries out. So these are the 3 places where the Activa E will be launched first, and then in a phased manner it will be launched across India. Along with the Honda Activa E, the company also launched the Honda QC1. This is a lower spec electric scooter, and it will be positioned below the Honda Activa E. Now quickly talking about the features and the highlights of this scooter. The range is about 80 kilometers. Yes, it's less, and this is the claimed range, so real world range is going to be slightly lesser. This gets fixed battery, unlike the Activa E which gets swappable batteries. So the charging time of this scooter is about 4.5 hours from 0 to 80%, and if you want to charge it fully till 100%, it takes about close to 7 hours. Now the design highlight of the scooter, it is somewhat similar to that of the Activa E, but there are few differences. So here in the Activa E you get a LED DRL. Here the headlight is there, full LED lighting of course, and the QC1, it get drum brakes at the front and rear. There is telescopic fork up front, 12-inch wheel up front and 10-inch at the rear. And if I were to talk about the ergonomics, so the scooter seems to be very light. It weighs just 90 kgs, and the fit and finish, so to say, is quite nice. And if you can see here, there is a LCD console. It is not touch, so you can change the settings from here. And there are 2 riding modes, standard and economy. And the top speed of the scooter is about 50 kilometers, which drops down to 30 in the economy mode. And along with that, if you were to talk about the overall design, it is not that great. It could have been better. Now let me quickly show you about the underseat storage of this scooter. So there is space for a half face helmet, like you can see. The total underseat storage is close to 26 liters, and you have the charging cable right here. And if you were to talk about small glove compartment here, so you can store your wallets, phones, bottle of water maybe. You have a USB port here, so you have a multifunction key slot here as well. And the deliveries of the scooter will begin in February 2025, and the bookings for the scooter will start in Jan 2025.
आज के शो में फिलहाल इतना ही। आपको ये शो कैसा लगा आप हमें बता सकते हैं NDTV ऑटो के YouTube चैनल पर। आप हमारे साथ जुड़ सकते हैं अपने फेवरेट सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म पर भी। अगले हफ्ते फिर मुलाकात होगी, तब तक के लिए बाय बाय।